So, Professor Dunn is there, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There was some issues. Am I audible, Professor Roy?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Professor
sir.
Roy,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Actually, there were some network issues. I was trying to
Okay,
join,
okay,
but I
sir.
couldn't. So
Okay.
now,
Okay.
finally, I was able to. Has Professor Shah
Okay.
joined? Professor Shajul Shah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Has he
sir. I
joined?
have seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
acha, acha. Professor Shah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, okay. Actually, just the previous one ended, and I was trying to join, and it was just circularly rotating on and on
No
and
issue.
on. So, uh,
So can we
but
start
I
now?
believe just 1 minute, Professor Roy actually um he's coordinating this session. Just a minute, Professor Roy. I can we start or something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah,
So,
please.
okay. So, thank you, sir. So, again, good afternoon, all the participants. So, it is the second session, and it is the last day of our faculty development program. Now, the speaker is Dr. Sajal Saha. Topic is cloud computing. So, before that, I will try to introduce a short biography of Professor Saha. So he is a esteemed academic leader, over 21 years of experience across the affiliated college and university system. He currently serves as a professor and associate dean, School of Engineering and Technology, and director product and innovation at Adamas University. He is also founding director of the Center of Excellence in AI at Adamas University, established in collaboration with Amazon Web Services, where he leads mission-driven initiative spanning healthcare, agriculture, smart cities, water management, and engineers language models. He has also introduced innovative teaching, learning, pedagogy in computer science in collaboration with Oracle Cloud, aligning curricula with industry platforms and practices. Previously, Dr. Shah was principal in Magnus Shah Institute of Technology, Techno India Group, affiliated with Macau, West Bengal. At Kaziranga University, he served as a Dean, School of Computing Science, and Dean Research from 2019 to 2021, and earlier as Associate Dean from 2016 to 2019. Dr. Shah earned his PhD from NIT Durgapur with a thesis QoS and Mobility Management in WiMAX and other next generation networks. He completed his ME in Information Technology from West Bengal University of Technology, and second in the university and receiving the silver medal from the governor of the West Bengal. He also holds a MCA from Sikkim Manipal Institute of Technology and BSc in Physics from the University of Calcutta. A prolific contributor to the research and innovation, Dr. Shah has authored 50 research in reputed international and national venues and 6 books with published such as Springer, Taylor and Francis, He has also founded the consultancy projects more than 70 lakhs, AICT, ASTEC, ICSSR, and the Institute Innovative Council, and holds the 3 granted patents, 2 published patents, and 4 registered copyrights, and mentored the Smart India Hackathon 2024 with winning team. So this is the profile of Dr. Shah. Now the Shah session is yours. You may continue.
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir.
And my screen is visible?
Yeah, visible.
Okay. So may I know who basically, so that I can tune my entire lecture accordingly?
Participants are basically all maximum from the faculty, from the institute.
And from the computer science or the electronics or the mixed batches are there?
Mixed team.
Okay. Thank you, Pranav sir, for this nice introduction. Basically, I started my PhD though in mobile computing from NIT Durgapur. Later on, I discovered that there is a huge scope in the cloud computing arena way back in 2016, when we found that at that time I was working at Assam in Kaziranga University, where the physical infrastructure is a big challenge to get the high performance computing system, high performance softwares, labs, and etc. Because it's a growing university and most of the equipment, software and hardware equipments in computer science are not available. There I found out that there is a huge scope. Instead of getting all those physical infrastructure, we can bring back all this infrastructure in a virtual environment to cloud. And initially, without that time in computer science department, we had only 20 computers and around 400 students. And with that 20 computers to cater these 400 students, it's an impossible task. But I later found out that if I use this cloud computing environment, then I can create 400 virtual computers at that instance, and only the keyboard and the basic end computing devices are required so that the students or the faculty members can log into that system. Not only that, whatever the configuration they require, means that in some cases they require only 4 GB of RAM, and in some cases those who are working in a research project, specifically the physics faculty members, they require that time 32 GB RAM machine or 64 GB RAM machine, and instantly in cloud we can create all entire thing. Now the thing is that the virtually whenever you are creating any computer in cloud, you have to pay for that. Who is going to pay? And the best part is that AWS that time was providing $100 cloud credit voucher to each of the faculty and student members if you apply for that. Now that $100 is sufficient enough, and that will be pre-filled within your account, and that is sufficient.
Hello, sir. I think you are mute.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So, and now I'm audible. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So I have to start it again. So basically, I have started this cloud computing journey way back in 2016 when I was in Assam. That time I found that the cloud service providers are providing several features and instances free of cost to the engineering colleges students and faculty members. So, and when I went to the deep dive into that system, I found out that if if an institution, if they want to create their infrastructure with a minimum resource cost. They can create that one and they can easily implement that one. And later on, they can create the physical infrastructure, obviously. But right now, most of the companies are also following the same path. They are right now, instead of inculcating the physical infrastructure, they are now migrating towards the cloud system. Means that they might have 400 employees, and all 400 employees, they are not going to purchase 400 computers or the servers. What they are doing, that they are creating 400 virtual computing machines over there, and they are giving the ID and passwords and also remote login credentials to the employees, so that the employees can log in from anywhere in the world. And the benefit is manifold. Benefit is manifold in the sense that first benefit, that they can check that from which part of the world my employee is currently working. It is not like that you have said that I am right now in the office, but I find out that you have logged in from your Pune residence. That can be monitored. Second thing, that you can monitor each of the desktop, that what the people are working on that machine, and also you can work collaboratively with your project. That is not only applicable for the industry person, that is applicable for the universities also. Means that if I give any assignments to my students, I can check all the virtual machine, all the desktop, what the students are doing, and also the log instances. Means that at the time of doing those assignments, if the student is using ChatGPT, at least from this cloud computing server, that can be detected, even that can be blocked also. So there are several opportunities that come into this cloud computing environment. We have specifically the normal NAV users have that blunt idea that cloud computing means only Google Drive or the Google Photos or your OneDrive or your iCloud. Uh, Basically, cloud computing means anything and everything that is related to your information technology, the infrastructure. Means that in one word, if you say the cloud computing definition is creating a virtual IT infrastructure footprint on top of your physical infrastructure. Means that in somewhere within the data center, you have that physical infrastructure. Means that the different cloud service providers are there, like Amazon Web Services is one of them, Oracle Cloud is another, Google Cloud. They have their own data centers over there. Millions of servers are present, and from those servers, they are providing you the virtual infrastructure on a leased basis. Leasing basis means that if you have created one virtual computer or virtual machine on a remote data center of a minimum requirement, because you don't know how much requirement will be sufficient enough for you. That case, you can create your virtual infrastructure with 2 GB RAM or 4 GB RAM or whatever it may be. And there is a auto scaling option, that you can write an auto scaling code that if my CPU utilization goes beyond 70%, that case automatically increase the entire infrastructure, because the CPU utilization, if it goes beyond 70% or 80%, your system can get burnt out. Now, in case of cloud environment, what will happen, that you have created one computer with 2 GB RAM, and if it finds out that your infrastructure resources goes beyond 70%, automatically your 2 GB RAM will be increased to 4 GB RAM. 2-core processor will be increased to 4-core processor. Or again, that is also not sufficient. Automatically, it will be increased from 4 GB to 8 GB, 8 GB to 16 GB, 16 GB to 32 GB, and that is endless. Means that it can go to up to 1000 GB also. Now, again, if your resource utilization means that your CPU utilization are not that much, that case automatically it will get downscale. Means that if it was that earlier 1000 GB, then it will be downscale to 800 GB or 700 GB or 600 GB. Means that it's an elastic in nature. Your computer is there, that is virtual, but it can be elastically increased or decreased as per your requirement. I'm giving one example that right now the India and South Africa matches are going on at Hotstar, right? You can see the live match in Hotstar. And have you noticed that, right? The number of your viewers that are varying from 10 lakhs to 10 crores or 100 crores or so. Sometimes that depends on the dynamics of the game. If the game dynamics is right now, Virat Kohli is trying to reach to the century mark, that case your number of users may reach up to 100 crore. And if India is in the losing situation, that case the number of users might be 10 lakhs. Now, if the number of viewer increases, have you ever experiences any lagging within your streaming? The answer is no. Right now, the answer is no. How they are doing that one? They are using the cloud computing servers, for cloud computing streaming servers to stream their the match live broadcast from their studio to the n number of users. If the number of users are less, then their server will be automatically downgrade to the minimum amount of CPU and GPU, which is sufficient to cater that of 10 lakhs of people. Now, if the number of users are getting increases based on the dynamics of the match, then automatically the server size will also get increased, like the way where you can see that the utilization which is shown here through the red mark requirement, based on the red mark requirement, and this is the CPU that is in yellow mark, that is decreasing and increasing based on the requirement. That means your system is elastically increasing as well as elastically decreasing. Now, how the billing will take place? The billing will also take place based on how much resources you are utilizing and for how long you are utilizing. Means that if you are utilizing 4 GB RAM machine for 2 minutes, then you will be billed to 4 GB into 2 minutes of utilization. Or if you are utilizing 32 GB RAM machine for 8 minutes, that case you will be billed accordingly. Means that this concept is called pay per use. Means that you are paying for whatever you are utilizing. So this practices is right now is being used by all the companies who are running based on the streaming concept, like your Netflix, like your Prime Video, or like your IRCTC, where the requirement gets increases from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. During the opening of the ticket for the next day's ticket, or in case of your Uber or Ola, where the number of customers hitting the server during from night 12 a.m. to morning 6 a.m. is very less. Wherever from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. During the rush hour, the number of users are increasing. So this concept, the elastic concept, is being used in the cloud servers. And the basic use cases is that, suppose if you want to create your own startup company in software, where you got a very good project from a client and you require at least 10 computers. Such case in the legacy system, which we actually think of 20 years back, that if I have to create one such kind of startup, I have to invest for 10 computers at least, and working space to keep all those 10 computers. And I cannot keep all those 10 computers in the normal temperature. I have to put one AC over there. I have to maintain those systems. So there are several infrastructure costs are coming. And next days, if your projects are not there, that case, whatever computers you have purchased, that becomes a liability. Your assets will become a liability. And you know that for the computers, resale value is nothing. Now, instead of this one, if you go through the cloud service concept, what you can do that if you have a project, 10 computer instantly within 5 minutes, you can create 10 virtual computers, give the credentials to all the 10 employees. They will work over there. And whenever the work is completed, you can download the entire virtual computer. And you can download also before deleting the entire virtual computer, because you cannot keep those virtual computer for long because you have to pay for that. So you can download the entire virtual computers whenever your job is done, and then you can terminate all those virtual computers if your project is not there, if your client is not there. So there is no liability. So that is the difference between the on-premises services and the cloud services. On-premises means the legacy systems where we are working on the physical hardware, where we have to keep the infrastructural cost for equipment. We have to keep the resources and administration to maintain those servers. There is an initial capex, the capital expenditure cost is there. But in case of AWS cloud or any other cloud services, there is no upfront expenses. Just whatever services, whatever servers you are purchasing, you have to pay for that amount only. And those I believe that there you can understand these are the nomenclature which are being used in case of the on-premise infrastructure or in case of the cloud services. Means that in case of the network security in the on-premise services, those who are the network administrator, they know that the firewalls and the ACL concept, where in case of cloud services, one question that should come to your mind, that if I create within my, if I am the company CEO, I have taken one cloud account with my credit card details. Mind it, at the time of creating your cloud account in any cloud service provider, whether it is AWS or GCP or your Oracle Cloud, you have to give the credit card details if you don't go for the academic account. And how to get this academic account, that I will tell you later on. Okay, so that case, if you create after giving this credit card details, if you create the 10 virtual machines, and if you are giving the credentials to your employees, then what will happen? That means that 10 employees are working in a 10 secret projects. One should not see the others' data. How can you ensure that one? Isn't it? Means that I'm working in an IoT project in a virtual machine, another person is working in a data science project. Now the data science projects can delete all the data of the IoT project virtual machine, because I might have access now. So in case of cloud, you can make this kind of abstraction. Means that if you have created 10 virtual computers, each of the virtual computers will be abstracted from the others. One cannot see the others' content. Also called integrity and access management. You can see over there at the top right, there is a concept called IAM. That is the integrity access management, through which you can set the scope and authentication, that each of the users, how much access they may get. Now, in case of networking, I have the concept of router or network pipeline or switch. But in case of cloud, you need not to bother about that, the networking pipeline or the throughput, how much bandwidth I require. As I have told that the bandwidth, network bandwidth will also increase or decrease based on the requirement. And that can go up to 1 Tbps also. That means 1000 Gbps also network speed if it requires. Now, there is a concept of elastic load balancing. Elastic load balancing concept means, as I have told, that if your server requires huge amount of computational capability or huge amount of traffic are coming, there are two ways to increase your to mitigate this problem. means that if the number of traffic increases, either you can increase the existing server, or within your cloud services, if you have 1,000 computers, then if you activate elastic load balancer, then what that elastic load balancer will do, that it will check that what are the computers are less burdened right now, what are the computers are dormant right now, what are the computers which are not being utilized properly right now, and the computational task will be distributed among them, so that within the same infrastructure, without giving much cost, you can balance the load among the others. Okay, and in case of servers in the on-premise system, as we have the number of servers, in case of the cloud, we call it images, or in some cases it calls instances. That multiple instances means multiple computers or multiple cloud. Now, as already I told, that in case of the legacy system, the first column, which is showing that instead of creating whenever you are creating your IT infrastructure, your capex budget will be higher and OPEX budget will be lower. But in case of the cloud environment, you have an equal amount of capex and OPEX environment requirement. Now, why the capex requirements are coming? That one capex requirement is that to access your virtual machine, though you are accessing from the remote location, you need a minimum configuration computer or a monitor. Otherwise, how can you access that one? Or you can access it from your laptop or your tab or your mobile itself also. And the OPEX and another CAPEX cost is that the network bandwidth. Why the network bandwidth? Your cloud servers network bandwidth is you can increase up to 1,000 Gbps or Tbps, but you cannot experience that one if you have the at least the compatible amount of bandwidth within your system. So that much of CAPEX budget is required. Now, the next question, that obviously whatever I'm telling, you might not be convinced that, okay, so you are trying to convince me to migrate my entire hardware infrastructure over cloud. But later on, if I find out that my cost is increasing day by day, but that time I will not have any other option to get stuck with the cloud services, because already I will create my entire virtual infrastructure within the cloud, right? As a company CEO, it will always bother me, right? So what is the solution? Solution is that to get the conviction that whether I should migrate to cloud or not, you just give your requirement in the cloud calculator. There is an each of the cloud services have its own calculation system, and that calculation system you can also utilize. Means that suppose if for a 3-year for a project, if I go for a server in case of on-premises, if it comes around 91,000, that is a case study that I have considered. What is that case study? That on-premise, if I create one virtual computer with 4 CPUs, 16 GB of RAM, Linux OS, average utilization 70%, and such case, considering the storage, network, IT labor, and that is, I'm telling you, that is for the 100 computers with the same configuration of 4 and 16 GB of RAM. The cost is coming for 3 years, it is $167,422. But in case of AWS, if or any other virtual cloud services, if you take for this similar 100 computers with 70% of utilization with the Linux operating system. Why I'm emphasizing on Linux? Because it's a it is an open source system. But instead of, if you take the Windows, that case you have to bear the additional license cost also. So if you take the Linux operating system, that case the cost is coming around $7,509 only. And if you make a comparison, then you'll find out there is a huge 96% of your savings that is coming around. Now, how to check that one? Do you want to check that how to calculate that for any application, how much budget would come around in case of a cloud? If you wish, that case I can show you the demo. Over to you, audience. You can put your requirement within the chat box. Do you want to see that how the AWS calculator works? Or otherwise, I will go to the next slide. Waiting for your response. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir.
Audible.
Yeah. So do you want to see the how the cloud calculator works, or shall I go to the next slide? Okay, not got any response. Let us go to the next slide.
Yes, sir. Someone asked me to show you.
Oh, you want to see? Okay, okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you just type AWS calculator, and for that you account. Without any account, you can access this AWS calculator. I hope the network will betray. So if you okay, now suppose I want to create one web server, that I want to launch one website, and that is two types. I already told that one case is that where you will enable the auto scaling. Means that if you enable auto scaling, that case if the number of users increases, that case your server size will also get increased, and if the number of users decrease, then your server size will also get decreased. Or another option is that you can go for the the reserve services or the reserve instances. Now that based on this, your entire cost will also change. Now, first of all, they will tell you that which region you want to choose your server. Region means the AWS or any other cloud service provider, they have their own data center across the world. You can choose any part of the world data center. Like for the AWS, I'm showing that where the AWS data centers are there. AWS right now has 86 data centers across the world. In India, AWS has two data centers. One is in Mumbai, another is in Hyderabad. And another data center they are creating, that is also in Delhi. AWS has data center in Singapore, in Mexico, in Beijing, in Hong Kong. In US itself, they have 24 data centers. And across the world, you choose the country, they will tell you which data center you can keep your data. Now, the choosing the data center is also one of the important aspect. Why? Because the data centers are laying across the world, and each of the countries has their own data governance policy, apart from the global data governance policy. Like in China, Chinese data center, if you keep the data, the rule is that Chinese government can anytime access your data if it concerns the national security. But in case of US or India, nobody can touch your data if the national security also arises over there. Now, being a company CEO, or suppose I'm the owner of a bank, now will I be depend on the cloud services where there is a threat of that the government can access my customers' confidential data? Obviously, I will not choose that one. So, choosing the data center is also one of the important aspect at the time of creating your entire virtual infrastructure. And at the same time, where the data governance policy is strict, there the cost of your virtual machine will also be higher. Means that keeping your data in the Chinese data center will be much low cost rather than keeping your data in the Mumbai data center or in the US data center. So that data center is also one of the important aspect. You can see that where are the data centers are: US East, Ohio, North California, Africa, Asia, Mumbai, Tokyo, Thailand, Europe. So total 93 data centers are across the world. You can choose any one of the data centers. Now, this choosing the data center for each of your application, that is a beautiful option given by AWS. But such kind of opportunities are not available in case of Azure or in case of Oracle Cloud. In case of Oracle Cloud, you have to choose your account with respect to a particular data center from the beginning. Means that if you choose the London data center at the beginning, for any other services, you cannot change your data center later on. And that data center will become fixed for your services. In case of your Google Cloud, sorry, not Google Cloud. In case of the Microsoft Azure Cloud, you will be given to choose two data center option at the time of creating your virtual infrastructure. Means that your actual server will be created, suppose in South Africa. Your replica data center might be created in Mumbai. Now, in case of the virtual system, it is mandatory mandate that every time for each of your virtual machine, there will be a replica machine will be created in other data center. The reason is obvious. In any reason, if your primary data center get crashed, then immediately your data can be recovered from the mirror data center. Okay, sometimes what happens that you can keep your mirror server as well as actual server in the same data center, which is not suggestible. But keeping your data and the mirror data center apart from the different zones is always preferable. Now, what is the difference between the region, the location and the region? The location is that you have chosen the US data center, which is 10,000 miles away from Kolkata, right? Now, this slight, if it is though they are saying that we are sending your data through 1000 Gbps of speed, but still there will be a latency. Sometimes for any real-time application, that kind of latency is not permissible. So what they do, that they create a replica of your system in the local zone. If you choose the local zone, and if you choose the wavelength zone, that means there will be no replica will be created in your local zone. Your actual data, whatever changes you are making, that will be done in your actual data centers only. Such case, the latency will come up. Now, obviously, if you choose the local zone, the cost will be higher. If you choose the wavelength zone, your cost will be lower. So these are the difference. Now, find a service. There are more than 200 services are available. Means that to create a virtual machine, in case of AWS, that service is called EC2, that is Elastic Compute Cloud, where you can increase or decrease your cloud services. If you go for the storage services, there are several types of services are available, like your S3, like your EFS or EBS. EFS means electronic file system, EBS means electronic block system. And in case of Google Cloud, you have the data storage facility that is available in Google Drive. Okay, so you have to choose what kind of services you require. But the thing is that as a novice people, if you don't have any idea that what kind of services I should choose, then you can go for the different catalog, that whether I should go for Amazon Carrier IP, Amazon EC2, that whatever I have told, that the server, AWS data center, Amazon Elastic Block Storage, or Elastic Load Balancing, or Windows Server and SQL Server on Amazon EC2. Now, still you are not sure that what kind of services I require. Just take AWS EC2, means the AWS EC2 means it will help you to create your server first. Now I have chosen wavelength zone as well as US East Boston. Now coming to the tenancy. Tenancy means they are giving it to the lease. Now what kind of tenancy you want? You want a shared instance, dedicated instance, or a dedicated host? What are the difference between this? A shared instance means within the same server, the server capacity might be higher. Uh, Within the same server, a portion of the server will be given to you, another portion will be given to another user. Like the way you take the tenancy in a PG system or the other places. Whenever you are staying in a PG system, you have multiple numbers of rooms are there. Each one room you have taken it as a lease for 1 month or 2 months. The thing is that that is a multi-tenant concept where you have your own privacy. That means whatever you are doing, you're never within the same tenant cannot see whatever you are doing, because you have been given a separate private room. But still, you people are accessing some common services. What are the common services? The same electricity, or the same kitchen, or some cases the same corridor, or some cases the same toilet or washroom, or some cases the same dining room, like this one. In case of the cloud services also, this kind of multi-tenant system also happens if you go for the shared instance. Means that your data, your privacy will kept maintained, but still all the shared services may take some of the services in a shareable basis. What are the services? Like your network bandwidth, because they have the single bandwidth or the single bandwidth is available over there. Everybody is sharing their data or sending their data in a VPN or in a shared or secret manner, secured manner, right? So it depends upon, based on this you can choose. Or if you choose a dedicated instance, that case entire infrastructure means that your server, your zone, everything will be isolated. Nobody can touch within this one. So it depends on that what kind of services you are going through. If you are creating a banking website, or if you are creating one payment gateway site, that case obviously it will be suggestible to go for the dedicated instance. Otherwise you can go for the shared instance. Now as we are creating one website for a customer, we may go for the shared instance. Okay, I believe that this much is okay for you. Any question you can ask me. Okay. Now the workload. Now workload means how much utilization you have to give one approximate utilization level. Means that you are going for constant utilization. That means that your server will remain on for the 24/7. That case, the 100% utilization, the cost will be higher. Or if it is a daily spike traffic, means that at a particular time of your day, your server hitting will be more. That means at 12 p.m., most of the people will hit your server, like in IRCTC or the other sites, or it is a weekly specific spike traffic or monthly spike traffic. Obviously, for the reason, the monthly spike traffic will be much lower than the constant usage. Okay, and how many instances you require means that how many servers you require. If you require a single server, right over there, then enter maximum number of instances for your workload. Means the two means that within the same month, the two times, if the peak arise, then they will do the load balancing from taking as a lease from the other servers. And if you don't know how to utilize this one, then you can go for the constant usage. That case, the cost will be obviously the higher one. Okay, now for the server or the EC2 instance, that what kind of instance type you want. So here you can see the T3.medium. So this is basically a template name for an instance. For means that T3.medium has a specific CPU capacity, specific GPU capacity, or specific RAM capacity. Okay, now for this one, for T3.medium, you have two virtual CPU or 8 GB of memory. If you don't want this one, if you want more, that case, you can go over there. That any instance family, instead of 2 virtual CPU, I want 8 virtual CPU. Or instead of a RAM of 4 GB of RAM, I want 64 GB of RAM or more than that. Or any network preference up to 5 Gbps, 10 Gbps, or 25 Gbps, I want 10 Gbps. So based on this, they have given one suggestion that you should go for the instance name R5.2x large. This is the name only. Don't bother about the naming. Just check that what type of servers that you need and what type of servers it is being created. Okay, now the thing is that do you want the reserved instances? Means that the entire instances or the entire server will remain reserved for you for the next 3 years. If it is, if you take the reserved instances for the long period, the cost will be obviously lower. And if you go for the reserved instances for a shorter period, cost will be higher. Obviously, because if you take lease for 1 month or if you take lease for 1 year, 1 year lease costing per month will be much lower. Okay. Now, reserve instances means that you have taken in 1 year reserve. There are 3 types of payment option. Means that no upfront, means that I will not give any upfront payment. Whenever my utilization will be done, I will give the monthly billing. That case, cost will be much higher. If you give a partial upfront, means that 50% I will pay now and rest of the 50% I will pay each month based on the billing only. That case will be moderate. And if you go for the all upfront, then cost will be much lesser. You can see over there, if I choose no upfront, that case your cost is coming around $469 per month. Means that it will come around $6,000 per year. If you go for partial upfront, that case the cost becomes half of them. That means $223 per month. And if you go for the entire upfront, that case your upfront payment will be $5,256. That means $1,000 you are on savings. And if you go for on demand, means that I will not go for any upfront payment. I will not go for any what type of EC2 instances I require. What I will do that I will take a bare minimum system, and after that, if my the whatever I have told in case of your auto scaling option. So if I choose an on demand option, then your based on your requirement, your system will get your capacity will get increased or decreased. Such cases we cannot predict your billing. It will be done as per the usage only, but they will give you one one option that what should be the minimum usage we should consider. So if I give the 100, that means the 100% utilization will be coming around. So if you do all those things for this server, you need to pay $496 per month. Now you'll say that it's a huge cost, right? Now this cost is coming because one thing is that you are taking a 64 GB RAM machine, with the 64 GB RAM machine with a 10 Gbps of speed. 10 Gbps is a huge speed. But instead of this one, if you decrease your memory size, suppose if I decrease my memory size to 4 GB RAM, sorry, if I go for a 2 virtual CPU and 4 GB RAM machine, such cases, your entire cost will also get decreased. Suppose if I take a 2 virtual CPU and 4 GB RAM, look at this, your cost is dropped down from $500 per month to $40.88 a month. Now, my colleagues, what I wanted to show you that uh, uh, through this, you can have an idea that what kind of services you are choosing. Based on this, how much cost can come around, and it will be helpful for the company CEO also to take a decision that what kind of services I should take from what kind of service provider. And similarly, if you go for the servers, that EBS services, that means that how much storage you require. So that case also you can just choose that how much storage you require. Suppose if I choose 1000 GB, that means 1 TB of services. That case it is coming around $150 per month for EBS services. And instead of EBS, if you take the EBS is the most high speed storage services. Instead of this one, you take a low speed storage services like S3 or like AWS Glacier. That case your cost will be much lower. Now, after considering all those things, your cost is coming around $190 USD. Now, instead of 1000 GB, if I remove it and take it on the 100 GB of machine, that case your cost will drop down from $190 to $58. Now, if I save this one, save and view this summary, this is the estimate coming for creating one EC2 services or the one server, and that server that I have considered, that is for the 100% of utilization. That is why the cost is coming higher. Now you tell me that with that $670 means it is coming around 40,000 rupees. उसमें तो मेरा एक सर्वर ही आ जाएगा, कंप्यूटर आ जाएगा. Why should I go for this type of services? The thing is that in your computer, your utilization, daily utilization will be not more than 30% to 40%. Here I have taken the utilization of 100%. Now, if instead of the 100% utilization, if you go for the 30% utilization, immediately your pricing will also drop down to 1/3 or 1/4 of this one, that is $150 that may come around. So if you find out, if you make a calculation of 5 years plan, you'll find out this cost is much lower on the long run. I'm again telling you that the AWS or the other cloud services, your cost estimation you can judge if you go for the long run period, because after 5 years your existing computers does not have any value, means that its buyback value becomes zero. Whereas in case of AWS, you need not to think of and your entire infrastructure cost becomes zero, the depreciation cost basically. Whereas in case of cloud, such kind of thing will not happen. So I believe that from this you got an idea that how to calculate the services. This is one option that I have shown to you, that is for the creating one infrastructure. Instead of the infrastructure, you can take the platform as a service or the other services also, and check the cost. Any question till now? I'm taking 2 minutes of break. If you have any type of question, I'm surely going to help you. If you are a novice, don't have any idea, ask any type of question. Or any case studies, or for your research.
Professor
I'm
Kundu,
telling
is
you,
there
as
any
a
question in the
faculty,
chat
we'll get
box?
it free of cost. Yes, sir.
No. I'm asking Professor Kundu if there is any question in the chat box. Professor Kundu, is
Yes,
there
sir.
any question in the chat box?
Sir, actually, Professor Kundu is unavailable, sir.
So, sir,
Acha.
actually,
Okay, Professor Sarkar,
okay,
I believe,
yeah.
no, I believe students can also ask now. If they have not written in the chat box, they can ask now.
Yes, any question. there is no question, let us move forward. Okay, as I have told that you do and everything that is related to IT through cloud. And what are the different types of models? I believe that those who have having the subjects cloud computing, they have gone through this one. Recapitulating, because it is a faculty development program, some of the people, colleagues who might not have that idea that cloud computing is divided into two parts. One is the deployment model, with respect to the deployment. So the service right now, the primary services are three. That is the software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. And probably there are several services right now, your AI service, or the ML as a service, or the Gen AI service. So these are basically a part of your platform as a service only. Now the basic difference between the IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS that I will come later on. And with respect to the deployment part, it has four types of clouds are there: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. Now, what are they? The public cloud is basically the cloud services that we are taking from the different cloud service provider. Means different cloud service provider like Amazon Web Services, Alibaba Cloud, Google Cloud Platform, or the Oracle Cloud, or the Microsoft Azure. These are the big cloud service providers are available. They have created the infrastructure. Whatever services you require from their catalog, you just choose them and take the service. But some of the companies, or some of the industry who are very much conscious about their data, like banking sector, or the insurance sector, or the healthcare sector, sometimes they don't rely on the public cloud server, because their entire data is right now on the servers data centers that is hosted in a remote location, right? Though they are telling or they claim that they are which will happen, still they are reluctant to keep their customers' data. Or even suppose in case of government projects, you cannot keep your other data in the cloud, or the private cloud service providers cloud, right? Or any other secret government data in a cloud server that is hosted. But do that, they create their own private cloud infrastructure, like SBI, State Bank of India, have its own private cloud infrastructure. Private cloud infrastructure means they have to set up their own data center. Own data center means data center criteria are very control data center. You can see where you move towards the Akanka More in the right side, you will find out the criteria is that there should be and lack of image server, means that there should be 4 lakh servers should be there. For the entire 2 lakh server, actual server and the image server, the entire electricity plant, powerhouse, everything should be different. For the entire 2 lakh plus 2 lakh, that is two different entities are there. Their UPS system, that is the alternative power system, should be different. Their cooling system should also be different, apart from the protection, security, and everything. Nobody can enter to those server data center with mobile or the other things. Apart from this, your data center should be built in such a manner that it can resilient with the up to 7.5 of Richter scale, so that any kind of natural calamities come, it should sustain with your data. Now, within the data center, major issues is the heating, the cooling of those data center, because huge amount of heats are generating, and you cannot mitigate those heat with a blower or any AC. How they are cooling that one? That is also one challenge. They have to put a system should remain cool over there. In center zone that they can get, and Microsoft ahead creating the data center underwater. The data container cylindrical 1 lakh inside the cost will be higher, but if you compromise with data, you can compromise with your funding or infrastructure cost, then you can go for the private cloud, like the people, the bank or the insurance companies or the healthcare sector. But all the banks are not rich enough or cannot afford to have a private cloud. Obviously, if I consider for the small banks like Bandhan Bank or the Union Bank or the Punjab National Bank, they cannot afford to create a private data center for the obvious reason. But their data is also, their customers' data is also as much as important with respect to the security, right? So that also we need to take care of. So what they do, they create a community of all the banks, like Bandhan Bank, HSBC, Axis. They will come together and create a community. That community will create one private cloud system where a portion is physically detached of Axis Bank servers from the HSBC Bank or the Bandhan Bank servers. But means that they are utilizing the multi-tenant concept. Their servers are physically separated from each other, but still they are utilizing some common services like the electricity or the other things. So between the private cloud, public cloud, or the community over here, these are the forgot to mention about is also big player in specifically the IB. And in case of private cloud, they are creating their own infrastructure. They have to bear that infrastructure cost. And cloud, multiple companies are creating, having the same goal. The healthcare sector also system. Or if my screen is visible, hello, I believe my screen is not visible.
Not
It's
visible.
Yes, sir,
Screen
it
is
is
not.
not.
Okay, yeah. So I have to share it again. Okay, now is this visible?
Yeah, moving, uploading.
Is
Okay,
uploading.
uploading. Yeah, yeah, is visible.
Is my upload? Okay, okay. The infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a you require, like
Sir, hello.
drive
Hello, sir. It is not visible, sir.
or one or what to do.
I think some network issue is there. Yeah.
Network issue.
Okay.
Okay. Is this from my part? I don't know. Now,
No, it is uploading again.
network issues.
Yeah, it is visible now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, on top of the hardware infrastructure, if you want to create one services, like what kind of services? The application development environment, or the security environment, or the testing environment, or the version control platform. What is application development environment? Means that you have to build a software which requires PHP as a front end, MySQL as a back end, or in between them some middleware services are required. Now those entire services will be created by them. Means that if you have the computers on with you, you are just installing PHP, then install MySQL, and you can start your work. But the problem comes around whenever there is an update comes for MySQL, then in the updated version of the MySQL may not become compatible with your PHP. Such case, what you need to do? You have to download some patches, you have to wait for this one, and have to connect this one, and it kills a lots of time. But if you go for the platform application development environment from the cloud services, from the drop down menu only, you just select for the front end what kind of environment you require. Do you require .NET? In the back end, middleware if you require Java, or in the back end if you require SQL server, or or if you require Oracle, whatever you require, you just choose that one. It will create the entire environment and give it to you so that you can start from your work from day one only. Apart from this, it will give you the collaborative coding environment. Like there is a service in AWS that is called Cloud9. In the Cloud9, like the coding, you are at the time of writing the code. Suppose the Python code, you have to install PyCharm and the other thing, right? Or in case of C, you have to install the Def C++ or the other environment. But here there is an universal environment available in Cloud9, where you just have to write the code. You need not to mention that whether you have written the code in C, C++, Java, Oracle, whatever, Ruby, Perl, Python, whatever it may be. Automatically it will detect based on the syntax that you have written that which compiler is required to compile that program. Automatically it will do that. C, C++, Java, PHP, whatever it may be. So automatically it will do that. It will compile that one. It will show you that where is the error, and it will also suggest that how can you fix the error. Or if you need to write the code by the environment itself, environment will write the code also. And the another beautiful part is that in case of the Google Docs or any or the Google Sheets, you are doing your work in a collaborative environment, right? Means that at the time of writing the project report, the students what they are doing, the students say whatever is writing, the students B also can overwrite on top of that one in a collaborative manner, and I can see that what A is writing, what B is writing, and what C is writing. Isn't it? There is a collaborative writing that we are doing to speed up our process. Earlier days, in our time, what we used to do? that I will write my part, and after that I will share that part, and B will write on top of that. So that case, it becomes very difficult to check the version, which version right now is working. So it's difficult to manage that one. Now, in case of the collaborative writing, what we are doing, that we can check that who has done how much. And if somebody delete my document, that case also I can check through the log entry that who has changed my content, and immediately I can return back to my previous entry. The same type of collaborative effort can be done in case of your application development environment also. Means that within a project, if multiple people are engaged, they can do the project from the same collaborative environment. If somebody deletes your stable part of your code, you can return back to from the log entry, you can check and you can go return back to your stable environment. Or it will create you the security environment also. Means that it will create the different types of attack, and it will do the VAPT test, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing test, and it will check that whether your system is stable or not. Or the testing environment, different types of test case it will generate, and based on this it will create the testing environment. Or the version control platform also, different types of version it will create. So the few specific services that I'm telling, that Cloud9 or AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is basically called the serverless computing or the container system. And whatever collaborative environment that I have told, you can see it. The RA, different types of users are there. They are changing their content on top of that single program only. And whatever SaaS environment means that entire software providers site, and you will be given the login ID and password. You can just log into it, and you can take the either in a pirated mode or the right now in your system. What they are doing, the software is the you just log enter and accessing your data, right? Or in case of the Adobe Creative, that is also a SaaS platform. So this is a SaaS platform where you can win situation means that in case of the manufacturer side, they are also your data, your services, or the your cannot be paid because they are now going through the platform. And from the user side, you also sure that there is no chance of a virus attack due to installing the pirated software, or there is no security breach due to the using the pirated software. Also crash your entire system, or Office 365 or Adobe 365, Adobe Creative Cloud, your entire data will also be stored. Whatever through Cloud Calculator, you can get an idea that what type of services I should go for and how much cost will come. But it is obvious that you can utilize those services as an user, because from the educational institutes, they give it free of cost, as already I have told. For to get the AWS services, you have to join the AWS Academy. And for even for the Oracle also, to get the Oracle cloud services, you have to join the Oracle Cloud Academy. And over there, instead of $100, they are providing $400 of Singapore 400 Singapore dollar cloud credit voucher, and they will provide the space and the other cloud services in the Singapore data center only. That also, both of them you can utilize. And in case of GCP, Google Cloud Provider, if you have the university's domain ID, you will get $50. Means, as a gist, from AWS you are going to get $100. From Oracle Cloud you are going to get $400, and from the Google Cloud you are going to get $50. Isn't it enough, my colleague, that to to go and do the cloud computing experiments. So with these few words, I want to end up over here. If you have any question, you can ask me. So I stop my sharing. Is there any question?
Sumit, just please check any question is there in the chat box.
Sir, one question is there.
Okay, yeah, please.
Dr. Professor Devnath is asked that what kind of server is required for research labs?
So what kind of research that is more important? Suppose in case of the computer, as a computer scientist, we require the huge amount of GPU to train our model, like the large language model or whatever it may be. So, but in case of, suppose if it is a biotechnology project or the biotechnology research, the different types of servers will be required. It depends upon that what kind of services you are asking for. Now, how do you know that as a novice people, I don't have any cloud service, cloud computing experience, right? Obviously, this basic question that should come from every teacher, and I appreciate that one. So in case of whenever you will access the AWS or the any other cloud service providers account, just type your requirement over there. They will suggest that these are the services, this type of server you should take to complete your services. That option is there. Still, if you are unaware, I have told you one services, that is AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is a serverless computing, means that you have your program or you have your data you want to train, just put it over there and you tell that by what time. Because if you want to train your data or a model in a machine learning model, it may take 1 day or it may take 2 days or it may take 5 days. That depends upon the configuration. If you tell them that I want it to be trained within half an hour, whatever is being done in my 5 day to train the data, I want it half an hour. Accordingly, it will create a server and train the model and give you the result. Means that if you don't aware or if you are not sure that what kind of server is required, just take AWS Lambda or go through the AWS chatbot and ask them, this is my business requirement or research requirement, what kind of services are required. I hope this answers your query. Thank you for asking. Any other question?
Anyone have any question?
Yeah, one can
Yes,
ask verbally also. I mean, even
Yes,
if you have
yes.
not.
Yes.
Why not?
Mhm. Right, the Professor Shah, it has been a very illuminating presentation,
Thank
particularly
you.
in the cloud space. That the way you handle the or discuss the a resource, IT resource requirement and its cost implication, and
Yes.
therefore how to decide and select. That is a very important area, and those actually who would be going for, I believe, well, one if one goes to a very large corporate organization, there one has to give a feasibility report and compare
Exactly.
that okay, this will cost so much and all that. But for a very large corporate organization, usually, as we see, the benefits outweigh the investment. So,
Exactly.
I mean, when we started our career, then we used to do this cost benefit analysis for computational things. But
Exactly. And also the return
when
on
I look
investment.
back, I find it quite laughable that
Mm.
people would say that okay, so much of this thing will solve this much of this thing, but
Mm.
now practically that comparison almost is inexistent. I mean, only
Exactly.
it is a very given situation that benefits will
Mm.
come. I mean, and computer
Mm.
cost has gone down drastically. So
Exactly.
so So that comparison no longer is valid today. But one thing that what you have pointed out, I think, is extremely relevant, particularly for the startup companies who are struggling to get.
Hello.
Hello. I think some network issue is there.
Yes.
Sir, sir,
Yes. Yes.
actually, there are some questions in the chat box.
Sorry. Can you repeat?
There
Oh,
are some questions in the chat box,
I,
sir. Can you address it?
Actually, I cannot see the chat box. If somebody can help me, what is the query is given in the chat box and
Professor
can read
Shah,
out.
if you can see, just read it out. Then
Yes, sir,
Professor
sir.
Shah will be able
No
to
issue.
listen and.
Okay, sir. Mr. Rohit is asked that is data safer in the cloud or on a local server? Is data is safer in the cloud or on a local server?
Obviously, dataset is much more safer in the cloud than the local server. Why I'm telling this so? For the last 11 years, I don't keep my data in my local machine because my PhD data has gone whenever I was using my pen drive. Pen drive has one thing in common which most of the people are not aware of, that all the pen drives have 300 times, maximum 300 times read write capacity. I believe that most of the people doesn't know that, and you will never know that one fine morning your pen drive stopped recognizing you. And that happened with with me also, that my pen drive where my entire PhD data was there, suddenly it stopped recognizing me. From that day on only I am storing all my data in Google Drive. There is no point of keeping your data in the local drive, one thing. Second thing is that why you should keep your data set specifically in the cloud is that from there, from any location, you can access that data set for the other environment. Suppose you have trained that model in your machine, taking the data set from the cloud. Suppose you have gone through a particular server, you got an HPC, high performance computing server. Over that, they will not allow you to access your pen drive over there because HPC is a very secure place, like whatever available in Asian Bosch Center in Salt Lake or in CDAC. So over there, they will tell you that take the data set from the cloud, download it, dump it, and then train it. So the answer is that put it in the cloud only. Specifically in GitHub, you can store the entire your data set in the GitHub cloud. Any other question?
One more question is asked, sir. Wait, sir. For virtual lab, what type of server is needed?
To create one virtual lab you want to create, right? That way you want to stream the lab components, right? Such cases you need a type of servers where you have a sufficient amount of GPU, because in case of virtual lab, you are doing it in a remote monitoring where a huge amount of streaming is required. So such case you should have a high amount of GPU so that the stream should be seamless. Will not be possible. Even another important information I want to share you, when as I can see that there are lots of queries and interests are growing over amongst you, that I told you that AWS server is low cost. You can see that it is coming around $150, but still $150 for a Indian like us is a huge cost, at least 15,000, right? Now, Government of India has come up with India AI program, that they have created 2 data centers specifically for the Indian researcher and the startup. That is one data center is the IOTA data center that is supported by NVIDIA. Another is a control data center, whatever I have mentioned. Over there, you can take a 64 GB capacity RAM machine, which cost around $800 per month. You can get it 147 to 180. Means that in IOTA data center, it costs around 147 rupees per hour, or in IOTA data and in your control data center, it is coming around 180 rupees per hour if you utilize this kind of services. But for that, you have to apply over there. They will check your credential, means research credential. If your research credential is more than H index is more than 5, then you will get the services. Even for the students, the research credentials are not required. They can apply automatically, or the startups. If you are enlisted in a Udyog Aadhaar number, that you can also get the cloud services in a much more low cost, in a subsidized cost basically. So you have to go through the India AI portal. Over there, you can choose and upload your data and train the model, or you can get the services. I hope it will be useful for you.
Good, very good, excellent. Professor Roy, do we have time now?
Oh, almost 4:59, sir.
Yeah.
So
So
with the just end of the session.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for giving me this chance. I want to express my gratitude to Professor P.K. Dan and the entire
no, it is
Seacom
our pleasure
India.
that we were on the same platform and we enjoyed the discussion. Of course, of course. And formally, the thanking will be done by Professor Roy. So, Professor Roy, you do your customary formal thing.
Yes, sir. So thank you. It is a very interactive session. So thank you very much. Thank you, participants, for joining the last session. Just I am in all the participants to join the last session, which will be starting from now. So thank you, Dr. Sajal Shah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I leave?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
And yes, there is a feedback form which has been shared in the chat box. Kindly fill it out. Thank you.